just wanted to show you the finished article. Well, good morning and welcome back to the greenhouse on this rather chilly and yet bright day up here in Moray. Now, these are bright, mind, aren't they? These are lovely. Now, we're not going to be playing in the greenhouse today. I'm actually going to be playing outside in the garden, because what I wanted to look at today is how I could create a very simple wildlife habitat. Now, I know I've got a pile of rubbish in the corner, and I quite often refer to that as my wildlife area in the garden. But today I thought about actually creating a little pond. I thought I could use a bit of an old barrel, a few old stones and whatever else I've got lying around the place to build a little wildlife habitat that will hopefully attract into it frogs or toads. I might get a couple of dragonflies. I have seen them flying around here. I'll get bees, I'll get wasps, I might get a few birds, and who knows, I might even see that little red squirrel come down and have a bit of a drink. Now, I haven't got very much of a garden here. I've got a very little garden, so I'm having to squeeze it into a little corner where it gets a bit of sunlight in the morning and it gets a bit in the afternoon, but a bit in between there's not a lot of sunlight hits it. So I thought, in order to keep the water fresh and alive, I'd put a little pump in it and I'd use a solar one, because that way, oh look, I'm talking too much. Come on out there, we'll have a look and just see how I make it work. Cut! So I've popped it here underneath this tree, not too far away from where my cabbages and my broccoli get regularly digested by slugs, and right next to some of my beans that climb. And I wondered if we could knock up a pond from pretty much what I've got here. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. When you see people build ponds, they spend an absolute bloody fortune on them. They pay hundreds of pounds for a plastic container or something, and then they go buying really expensive rocks and, you know, £20 a plant, and they'll put 100 quid's worth of plants in. I've seen them on YouTube myself. Oh, here's an easy pond I built from a barrel, and you have a look and it works out at like 200 quid. Well, I'm sorry, but if I had 200 quid, I'd get my car fixed. I'm a great believer in Facebook Marketplace, and I had a look and somebody was saying, please come and take away these old stones. So I gave them a ring and they were fine. They said I could have a few, and that's all I needed. I've got some breeze blocks, but I didn't want to go putting breeze blocks in here because they're made from cement, and I thought stone might be a little bit better. Now, I went off to the garden centre to have a look at what the price was on some of the pond plants, because, you know, I wanted to put a couple in to get them started. I was shocked by how much they wanted for them. Some little plants are like £6, £7, £8. Some were more, 12, 15 and £20. But I did find something in the cheapo corner, so I bought a couple of plants to get me started. When I had a look around my own garden, I also found that I've got some irises. Now, I know that irises will grow in shallow water. I used to live on an island that was very, very boggy, and the best irises were always where there was always a pool of water. And the other thing that was on that island a lot that grew in water was rushes. We used to call them rashes, the spiky grass that'll take your eye out if you look at them in the wrong way. And I thought I could put them in here for a start. I can always add other things later. Now, this could work equally well small scale in a bucket. Some of these old trugs that you see me using around the place, these plastic trugs I get from the local recycle centre for next to nothing, it could work in there. It could work in a bit of a dustbin cut in half. It could work on a balcony. It can work in a garden or a backyard. We'll pop these plants out the way for now. Just another tip for you as well is that when you're doing all this, don't be worried about making a mistake, because you can always change it later. So let's have a look. Now, I wondered about the rocks. So the rocks you've seen so far is just these big things that I've got here. And what I'm trying to do is to set up 3 different levels. So I want a deep level for the bigger plants, a medium level for the middle size. This is like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. And then on the top we will have the little pond with the little ones in. So anyway, I brought a few bricks around, but don't go thinking I'm made of bricks, because I'm not. And I reckon that will probably do for the levels. The other thing I looked at was the special clay. Now you can get a clay kind of soil at about £10, £12 a little bag to put your plants in. Now I had a chat with a friend of mine who's got a nice pond, and he said the reason you have to use that clay, it's not about the nutrients or anything. He says it's about it holding together around the roots. If you just put soil in, the soil will dissolve and it'll roll off. Then I thought, well, what if I put the soil around the root of the plants, and then with a bit of old hessian maybe, wrap it round the root of the plants and tie it off. That'll stop the soil going anywhere, and I can trim the top off and make it look pretty. I had a few of these old potato sacks. I say old, this one's never been used, but you can see why. It had a rather large hole in the side that a mouse had a feast on. So I thought I could have a go at that. So the plants that I bought was this grassy thing, which was priced up at about 12 quid, but I think I got it for £2, and that grows in areas just like that. And then I bought this other one, which again, I'm not even really sure what it is. I know that both of them are designed for small ponds. So that one's also designed to be under about 3 or 4 inches of water. So I thought maybe that could sit. I don't know if you can see that. It's just going for a swim. So I'll find some way of holding that down in the right place. And then with the rushes wrapped up and the irises wrapped up, they should fit in there quite nicely. Now the water I'm using in here is simply rainwater harvested from this barrel there. Rainwater is the best. It's got no chlorine in it or anything, so the plants should do quite well here. The other thing I've had asked of me is, what will I do about mozzies? Now we don't get a lot of mozzies in the garden, but ideally I don't want a lot of mozzies in the garden. It was Chris from Middlesbrough who said, if you've got a pond, put a bit of copper pipe into it and it keeps the mozzies away. So we'll try that, and I'll keep my eye on it and see what happens. Now the other thing that's very important if you're going to put a little pond like this in is that wildlife will be attracted to it. So make some areas where the bees can land, bit of maybe a stone that sticks out, so the bees can land on it and they can drink. Perches for the birds to come in, and the ideal thing for that is just, you know, it doesn't have to be glamorous looking. You can literally wedge something like that in, and that's perfect for the birds to land on, and they can drink as well. You'll get all sorts of wildlife being drawn to your pond. Birds, we've mentioned, you'll also get frogs, and hopefully you'll get what I'm after, which is a toad. Now I have seen the odd toad in the garden, and I would like more. So I'm hoping if I build up the soil level behind the barrel, so it's easy for the wildlife to get up and get in, and if I have steps so they don't drown in there and they can get out, I'm hoping that very quickly this will become a flourishing wildlife area. So I'm going to get on with it now, and then we'll come back and have a look and we'll see how it goes. Cross your fingers. Now, I've given these a good soaking. As you can see, the water's dropping off them. And at the moment, I'm just putting them in to play around with space. And we'll pop that one here. And we'll pop this one in a slightly deeper area, just next to it here. Now, I'm going to wedge this stick underneath it as one of the landing platforms for going in and out. Maybe another one there, look. Remember, you don't have to mess around to try and make this the perfect piece of artwork. Nature will do that itself. These things will grow and will spread out beautifully. Now, one of the things I've noticed here is, apart from the fact I haven't built the hill at the back yet, is that there's nowhere really for bees to go. You might get a few on here, but I think if I get a bit of stone and pop it in there, that'll give more chance for bees to come down and just land in here. Find dropping some of these stones for the bees to settle on. Now remember, your water level's going to go up and down a bit. You know, it's going to evaporate away and then you're going to top it up again. So make the stones at different levels for the bees, otherwise they'll be underwater a lot of the time. So something like that. Can you make that out okay? The bees can land on here, get a drink and then off they go. I've bought a solar powered pump. Now this was new, and you know what I'm like for buying new stuff, I hate it, but it was cheap. It was about £5. Now I've purposely getting one where the solar panel is on the end of a cable further away. The reason I've done that is that the sun sometimes leaves this shaded and I want this thing running as much as possible. So I think what we'll do is, I'll squidgy down again. But I figure if I just put this maybe on one of the shallow bits and weight it down and then have the panel way out in the sunshine over there. Oh, you know what? I can feel it vibrating in my hand. Lucky me. There we go. All it needs to do is to keep that water moving so it doesn't go stagnant. Now you do get, well, before you throw them away and lose them, you do get little bits that allow you to join together to make different tops on them. You have a single squirty bit or you have a multi-squirty bit. And what I'm going for is the simplest squirty bit. Now there you go. Alright, it's still a bit rough. I've still got to tidy the wires up and find the final places for things. But it's in. And when the sun shines, the little pump does actually blow. You know, I didn't like that spray very much. The more the sun shone, the more water got thrown out of the barrel. So I figured with a bit of old rubber hose stuck on the end of it and a bit of wire inside to bend it, I'd rather have this constant stream of water coming from that little spray pump. As long as the sun shines, the water flows. And I quite like the sound of it in the garden too. So I think it's safe to say that this whole thing cost me about £11 UK, which is probably about $13–14 American. And you know, for $14 American, it's not bad, is it? I just wanted to show you the finished article. I had another little solar pump that I've stuck down there just for now. A couple more rocks in there, and with a bit of old pipe and a bit of wire inside it to bend it, I've got a constant stream of water coming from that little solar pump that's up on the pumps underneath the solar panels on the roof. I didn't like the spray much.
A few moments later.